Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geopolitical Trends, where truth matters. As always, good to see you guys. Hope you had a relaxing weekend and you are geared up for a new week as life goes on. So, anyway, very excited to be with you. I got this interesting topic. Not only I wrote the book about Saudi Arabia, it's the statement by the Crown Prince MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, regarding his fear, all of a sudden, his fear of an assassination. Very interesting coming from a guy like him. So, and I am going to detail for you, again, given my years that I spent in Saudi Arabia working there when I was in Washington, and I'm still in Washington, spent a lot of time in Saudi Arabia, but also the research I did regarding the Saudi book that I published, I think, a few years ago. So, and I'm going to be sharing some excerpts from the book with you. So before I'll do this, let me just some housekeeping items. Remember to join me tomorrow for another explosive topic about Canada and how Canada is contributing to what's going on in Gaza behind the closed doors. You will be shocked, surprised to find out what Canada is doing. I'm speechless as to what has become of Canada. This even Canadians do not even know. So I'll be talking about this tomorrow. And the second thing I need to let you know is on Thursday, make sure to join me on the other location. I'm not going to say the name here. Starts with an R. That's where I'm going to be. I am going to do an update regarding the topic I talked about last week. There are some major developments that you need to know. And of course, as you know, we can't talk about this one here. I'm going to do it over there. So, because it's my responsibility that you guys know the truth. So I'm going to be sharing it on Thursday. I'll post some hints for you and all that stuff, but you will know. You will know. So, all right. Let me just see who is here. Just quickly say hi to everybody here and Hang and G, good to see you. Oh, I see your comment here. Dr. Walalu's book, Beneath the Veil, for of the House Saudi. You predicted family tensions within the Saudi royal family may become violent and bloody, an inside job rather than CIA manual of regime change. That is correct, and I'm going to be sharing some of those. Excuse me, some of that with you guys as I move forward here. So, Alice Talokin, good to see you. Who else is here? Army with Harmony, good to see you. Rosanna, good to see you. Muslim Revert, as always. All right, guys, let me get Juan Casey. I'm Farhad Razawi. All right, guys, let me get into this because I got a lot to cover here. So, well, first of all, we're going to start with key questions, okay? Because for this, you're going to have to think outside the box. For someone like MBS to be stating this, he's playing both sides. Don't fall for the trap. Oh, I am fearful for my life. No. Don't fall for that. If I am to guess for now, but I am going to provide you my insights and let you reach by my own assessment is playing both sides here. So, and I will tell you why as I move forward. But let's ask the key questions, and I have those questions here for you. First question is, why suddenly MBS is expressing fear of assassination? Why didn't he say this one back in 2020 or right after he took over from his cousin in BN, Mohammed bin Naif? It just doesn't make sense. Second question, why did not fear assassination when he imprisoned other royal members? Because that is part of what's going on, and I'm going to share this with you. Third question is, why reach out to U.S. Congress to express fear? Just think about it, guys. Take a step back and think about it. I have concern, and who I'm going to reach out to? Oh, U.S. Congress. Just think about that. Then the fourth question we have to consider is what role will be for the CIA and Mossad. There is no ifs and buts. Come on. It's straightforward. And those are the key questions that we're going to have to consider. But first, let me share with you As I mentioned, I wrote a book about Saudi Arabia. So I don't know if that book would be allowed in Saudi Arabia here, but I'm going to share with you how I started the book, if you bear with me here. So quickly, I'm going to share it with you guys here. So I started the book with, just for a moment, consider the following scenario in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia: a plot to assassinate the new king, a twist into a saga of a monarchy in chaos, the revelation of dark secrets, the love of money, the drama, the corruption, and the royal characters. The outcome could be a blockbuster movie of the year. Few years ago, this storyline would have been dismissed as too far-fetched. But today, it is not a fiction. Rather, it is a reality through which dark secrets are emerging. Disappearance of and torture of royal members, including one of the world's richest men in the luxurious Ritz-Carlton Hotel, persist. Deals with the loyalists behind closed doors preserve. And corruption at the highest level run amok. The emergence of these dark secrets reveals a sinister reality, that of a kingdom in a downward spiral, a reality that demands the attention of diplomats, global affairs analysts, intelligence officers, investors, the Chinese, the Russians, the Muslim world, and those with the panache for a lavish lifestyle of Middle Eastern royalties. That's what I wrote back then. And if you take a step back and consider the statements by MBS, makes you just wonder. And this is what we're going to be delving into here. So I had a chance to read, by the way, this story broke through an article in Politico by Nahal Tosi. Nahal Tosi writes about national security matters. So, and she's a good writer. So I've been reading her stuff before. So I'm going to provide you the link later on. But here's the thing. Now, the Saudi crown prince, you don't call him a king because he's not. He's a crown prince. MBS expressed now fear, deep fear for his life. Okay. And what he's saying basically is that the potential repercussions if he goes forward with establishing ties between Saudi Arabia and Israel. I have a big question mark regarding that. So what is this fear of being assassinated all about? And if you think about it, is there a much bigger issue at play here? So, well, as you know, the Saudi MBS, the de facto leader, because he's the one now in charge, even though he wasn't supposed to be. So MBS he knows a little thing or two about assassinations. Why is this? Because you all know what happened with this gentleman here. And I'm going to share. I'll be sharing a lot of pictures with you guys because you need to understand the big picture. So if MBS talks about assassination, he knows a little bit about it, right? And by the way, we all know the story, how he found out about this one through the usage of Pegasus, which is the spyware provided by Israel because Saudis bought it for $250 million. So the idea that MBS all of a sudden, he's telling U.S. lawmakers that he is at risk. Just doesn't make sense. So, and the reason, and again, I'm putting my geopolitical analyst hat on and providing you my own analysis, given my understanding of how the internal dynamics, politically speaking, inside the kingdom works. I spend a lot of time in Saudi Arabia working with their governments, on behalf of my own government here in the United States. And you kind of learn over the years how they operate and think and so forth. So now what MBS is saying, he said to the American lawmakers, hey, by the way, I am putting my life in line here by pursuing this bargain with the Israelis regarding the establishment of ties. It's because Saudis won't have it. They would never allow that. We're not talking Saudi people. So, and this is why, the reason why the Saudi crown prince, is saying this to the American is for the American to pressure, okay, to pressure the Israelis to a degree, and to raise pressure on them, on the Israelis, to bend certain deals regarding this establishment of ties. But he knows full well, you go forward with this, you will be taken out. But that is not what's at the heart of it. This is just part of a much bigger, complex puzzle. This is what's at the heart of it. So by him saying to the Americans, look, I am telling you that I am very, very scared. Of course, this brings back memories in history. If you know anything about history, what happened to Anwar Sadat? You all know who Anwar Sadat is. What happened to him? And why was he taken out? If you guys can type in a chat box, why was Anwar Sadat taken out or assassinated? Let me just see here. Yeah, he was killed. Anwar Sadat was killed. That's correct. Why? Yeah. That is correct. C'est ma vie. That is correct. By the Muslim Brotherhood. Why? That's what I'm asking for you, or asking of you rather. That is correct. Ramplus 01. He signed, meaning Anwar Sadat at the time, signed the peace treaty with Israel. That is where the arguments of MBS trying to convince the lawmakers in the US to pressure to change part of the deal. In other words, what MBS wanted to do, hit two birds with one stone. On one end, to ensure the support of the US and the Israelis backing of his ruling. Because remember, he wasn't supposed to be in line for the throne. He's not. And second one is to say, I still can cut a deal with you, Israel, but it has to be on my own term because of the fear of assassination domestically. So, and this is why he's asking sort of the US for his protection. Anwar Sadat didn't do that. That's why Anwar Sadat was taken out. So, but there is a much bigger picture into all this, because like I said last time, most Arab countries just give a lip service to the Palestinian cause. They care less for this. The article went on by describing that some of those talks, which was, by the way, all of them, all of the individuals who were interviewed requested anonymity. They don't want their name to be revealed because of the sensitivity of the information. So, and all this is saying that the Crown Prince, MBS that is, appeared to be considering striking a deal with Israel and the US, for that matter, because his survival depends on those two countries. I'm telling you this straightforward. I worked there. I was involved. Saudi monarchy survival depends on the US and Israel to a degree. So despite the risks involved, this is the reason why he went forward and wanted to disclose this. But if we are to say that MBS, let me share a picture here. If MBS is concerned, how come all of a sudden you are concerned to that, but you weren't concerned when you had a meeting, secret meeting with none other than Benjamin Netanyahu, which was in the city of Neom. This is the city where it was a secret meeting between back then the CIA director, what's his name? I draw a blank. Anyway, it'll come back to me. Yeah. I drew a blank. I can't think of it. So it was this former CIA director, then Benjamin Netanyahu, and MBS. They met in the city of Neom, or Neom, that is. And here is the interesting. Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo. At that time, U.S. Secretary, he was the Secretary of State at the time, then became CIA director. But here is the interesting thing about all this, is that right after that meeting between Netanyahu, Pompeo, and MBS, the moment Benjamin Netanyahu returned to Tel Aviv, he ordered his aide to leak the story about meeting secretly with MBS. In other words, to put pressure on MBS. In other words, we own you now. Because it was forbidden for any Israeli to go to Saudi Arabia, to be on the Saudi territory. That's the deal. And here you have the crown prince himself meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu and the former CIA director Pompeo. And that's one of the understanding aspects of all this. First of all, we need to understand how MBS came to where he is today. Well, to understand this, and I'm not going to go into the depth. So if you are really interested in learning about this topic here, go ahead and purchase a copy of the book. There's like $7, whatever. Go to Buy Me Coffee. That's where you got it. I detailed the whole history of how it's all about. But here, I'm going to provide you a brief background for you to understand. So, well, of course, the idea of MBS when he came to power. How did he came to power? The idea that he was supposed to be this particular prince. This one, his name is Mohammed bin Nayef, known as MBN. So there is MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, and there is MBN, Mohammed bin Nayef. Now, this one here, the one you see on your screen, was supposed to be the next in line for the throne, because that's how it works. You have to wait your turn for 30, 40 years. That's how. This is why most of the monarchies, kings, are in the late 70s, early 80s. So what happened? MBN, Mohammed bin Nayef, was supposed to be in line, as I mentioned. But at that time, King Salman, right here, let me get a picture of King Salman. Not this one here. Here we go. This is King Salman. This is Mohammed bin Salman's father. He is now ill, sick, old. He doesn't move. He just lay down counting the days till he passes away. So, I mean, we wish him well. He's another human being, it doesn't matter. But just to highlight to you, this is how it works. So the person next in line will have to wait. So MBN, Mohammed bin Nayef, this one, where's the picture? This one was supposed to be in line. But what the King Salman did is he asked Mohammed bin Nayef to step aside. The reason citing that Mohammed bin Nayef was addicted to pain-killing drugs. And the king, Mohammed bin Salman, this one, I know there's so many names here. It's hard to track, but I'm going to make it as easier and simple for you. So when he met with this guy here, the king, Mohammed bin Salman, King Salman, met with Mohammed bin Nayef, he told him, listen, you use a lot of painkiller drugs, your judgment is impaired. So what I need you to do is I need you to step aside. Because this is what the King Salman argued, that such addiction would impact Mohammed bin Nayef's judgment, considering how the latter, meaning Mohammed bin Nayef, was next in line to the throne. Here is what's interesting, is that King Salman met alone with Mohammed bin Nayef. Usually, it's not supposed to happen. You meet with the whole tribe of the monarchy, those are in line. He met with him one-on-one and asked him to step down. And what happened during the same time? The same time, Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, this guy here, this is the son of King Salman, embarked on a kidnapping campaign, was kidnapping the Saudi princes living in Europe, who voiced their disagreement to the current Saudi leadership. Why? Because they didn't trust MBS for him to be taking the realm of the kingdom, because he is too young and he is inexperienced. And third is he crossed the line by coming from all the way behind to the front of the line. I mean, think about it, guys. Think about it this way. When you go to grocery shopping, okay, and you stand in line to pay for your groceries, and let's say someone from way at the end of the line come in front of you. Someone come in front of you in line. How are you going to feel about that? This is exactly what happened. Mohammed bin Nayef was supposed to be the next king. Then Mohammed bin Salman was put there by his father. Here is one thing about this guy, Mohammed bin Nayef. Mohammed bin Nayef has a good relationship with the intelligence community here in the US, mainly the CIA. Let's just say it straightforward. So, because he served in some key positions inside the Saudi government. Remember, the key positions inside the kingdom, the monarchy, are held by the prince, whatever princes. Remember, there are about 10,000 princes in the whole Saudi family. Of course, the one that have been around long enough to understand, they hold the key positions: defense minister, head of security, head of defense, internal security in a palace, the National Guard, and so forth. This guy was the head of the intelligence at some point. So, and this is why when Mohammed bin Salman embarked on starting kidnapping the princes, as a matter of fact, one of the princes, was imprisoned inside Saudi Arabia in a 5-star hotel. His name is Mohammed, bin Talal. He is one of the richest men in the world. He's a prince, okay? But he was imprisoned. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to share with you a clip when he was released from the Ritz-Carlton prison. It was unbelievable. So take a listen, guys. It's very brief. I'm not going to keep it too long here for you. Let me first share it with you. And I've been following his story, this guy, for a long time. He bought about 20 shares of Visa or Citibank in New York. It's very... So take a listen here, guys.
Just hours before billionaire Saudi Prince Al-Walid bin Talal was released from the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Riyadh, he conducted an interview with the Reuters news agency from the suite where he'd been confined. Bin Talal is one of Saudi Arabia's most prominent businessmen and one of the world's richest men. But he'd been held for more than 2 months, accused of corruption. In the interview, he described the entire situation as a misunderstanding.
There are no charges.
Okay.
There's just some discussions between the government, but rest assured that this is a clean operation that we have, and we're just in discussion with the government on various matters, and that I cannot divulge right now because we are in confidential discussion with them.
The mug bearing his likeness was just one of the many objects shown.
Anyway, I'm going to stop right here, guys. I'm going to stop right here. And the reason why you need to understand all this is because, of course, for him, he's going to have to not say bad things about MBS. Because what MBS wanted to do, wanted to control the entire royal family, which he can't. This is where the fear, the second part of this fear of assassination. It's not because, yes, of course, there is part of it. The Saudis, if they establish diplomatic relations with Israel. But the fear is also from within. There are princes from the royal family that it will be just a matter of time before they take him out. This is what I started my book with. And if history can, I'm a student of history. I always use history as my guide. I'm going to share a picture with you. If you can tell me who this individual, you should know who he is. If anybody can, if this picture rings a bell for you, can you please type in the chat box who this is? Let me see. Mohammed, whatever. No, that's King Faisal. Dambasa Moyo, you got it. It's King Faisal. What's important about him? What happened in 1975? What happened to him in 1975? Once again, I just want you to be part of the conversation, guys, here. The big yeah. What happened to him? He was murdered. Yeah, he was assassinated. By whom? This is the key. By whom? That is correct, YT. By whom he was assassinated. So, he was shot. Oh, Dambasa Moyo, you got it. By his nephew. And all about who's stepping in first for the throne. This is my point, guys. My point. This one here, Mohammed bin Naif, was supposed to be, which, by the way, he disappeared. Still alive, but disappeared, which means house arrest. And all of a sudden, this young guy took over and wanted to become a king. Now, what makes this guy's case even worse with the agency? It's because after targeting Jamal Khashoggi, which, by the way, the CIA issued its report that it has evidence that it was MBS who issued the order. Why? Because we have a recording of MBS conversation with his agents or whomever did whatever did, which started in Canada, by the way. So MBS didn't like it. Well, it's like, go take a hike. Who cares whether you like it or not? CIA will dictate. And that's from that point forward, the relationship between the CIA and MBS was like butting head. So, because for us, we start to think, if this guy comes to power, we're going to be dealing with him for the next 50 years. He's young. Most of the kings in Saudi Arabia, they are, as I mentioned, late 70s, early 80s. They end up living a decade max and they die. This guy is too young. But the relationship started on a wrong foot because we spied on him. Well, kind of like, get over it. We spy on all countries. That's how it is. So he didn't like it, but he doesn't care. We don't care. What makes it even worse for him, from our perspective, is he pivoted east towards China. And by agreeing to dump the US dollar regarding the oil transactions with the Chinese. Not around the world, just with the Chinese. We didn't like that. This is part of the problem. So that's why he was convinced to meet with Netanyahu in the city of Neom on the Saudi territory. Here's another image of the city, Neom here. Only Netanyahu went ahead and leaked that information to the Israeli media to embarrass MBS and to put a thumbnail on him. That is the whole reason for it. And this is why, as I mentioned, guys, you need to understand this dynamics of how the Saudi monarchy operates. Remember, MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, when he stepped in front of the line, what did he end up doing? He tore up the fabric of the monarchy that has held for 7 decades. Meaning what? Only to turn on his cousin, because MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, and Mohammed bin Naif are cousins. Yeah, that's how it works. And MBS end up not only detaining Mohammed bin Naif, but detained other princes as well, like bin Talal. So then he was the head of the Saudi National Guard. Mut'ab bin Abdul Aziz was also detained. So, and this is what MBS didn't understand, this dictatorial style, it's not going to work. Why? Because it will be just a matter of time before someone inside the royal family will turn on MBS and take him down. So, and this is why I started the book when I wrote about the Saudis that way, because it's only a matter of time. I can guarantee you this, just a matter of time. Because what Mohammed bin Salman did when he stepped in line, he angered members of the royal family because of his policies, dictatorship that is to amass power, and that foments tensions. And it is just a matter of time, as I argued back then, before some members of the royal family turn on MBS himself. So the only thing I believe will save MBS following his rhetoric and ill-conceived policies is his ability to turn Saudis around by turning over sovereignty to the U.S. Because the security of the royal family depends on the United States. So and this is what this is what I'm saying, guys. You have to understand this background, otherwise it will not make sense to you. So, and with the rise of tensions among the royal family, there is no clarity what might happen next. And in the case of MBS, because MBN has been waiting for his turn for decades to become a king. All of a sudden, you get this crown prince, MBS, step in the line and taking over. Because this outcome is disastrous for the monarchy. As with the regular family, like any other regular family, no one wants to be outmaneuvered or pushed aside in favor of another member of the family, especially if the favored member of the family is young, inexperienced, and manipulative. So, and this is why you have to see the big picture. The Al Saud family, with over 10,000 royal members. I expect personally, and again, I wrote this in the book, I expect that sooner or later, some of these members of the family will try to right the wrong MBS did. So the assassination of King Faisal in 1975 is a case in point. So, and this is how I see it, because the rebellion from within the royal family will happen one way or another. This is why MBS trying to play out both sides by telling the Americans, hey, I am scared for my life and all that stuff. No. It's just to sort of soften the blow domestically, so the Saudis will not get so angry, because the Saudis are already upset of seeing what happened to the other fellow Muslims in Gaza. You know, when the Saudis already said to Iran, we're going to shut down our airspace, you can't go. And yet Saudis allow Israel to fly over their airspace to target the Houthi groups in Yemen. So the same with Jordan, same with Egypt. Egypt is double standard. All Arab countries, majority of them, take Iran out and take Yemen out. But all of them, they just play in both sides. Lip service. That's usually how it has been for the Arab world. This is why Arab world or the Muslim world, when you start talking about Islam, religion, brotherhood, and all that is bravado. They give a hoot about the Palestinian issue. I'm telling you this based on experience. I've dealt with some Arab countries during my work in Washington, so we understand how they think. So, and again, I could be wrong, but if somebody has a better sort of evidence otherwise, I welcome that. I welcome that. So here's the thing about where the history of the dark history of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, because now it's shedding light on the developments that's taking place inside the palace. You know, so usually it's a place the world hardly ever hear about or knows about what's going on. One does not have to look far to realize how uncertain the current dynamics within the Saudi royal family is, especially in the aftermath of the elevation in 2017. That's when MBS came in line as being the next king. Once his dad died, he will be the next one. So MBS's elevation changes the course of history for the monarchy for decades to come. And here is why. King Salman, the king, let me show a picture because I know it's confusing with so many names. King Salman. King Salman is the last. He's the last of the sons of Abdul Aziz. That goes way back to 1930s. He's the last. And the reason he's pushing for his son to take over because now it's going to change the direction of the bloodline, because the mother of MBS, let me show you the picture. MBS's mother, it's from a different tribe. That's going to change the bloodline. Bloodline is very crucial in the Arab culture. This is why you're seeing certain monarchies will have to ensure there is a heir who's going to be taking over later on and so forth. That's why the survival, it's all about survival of the monarchies. It's not about the welfare or the well-being of the Muslim nations or Arabs or the Palestinian cause or poverty or whatever. All that is nonsense. Yeah. You know, and again, no offense to Muslims or whatever, when you hear them saying, oh, God said this and God said that, it's nonsense. It's because here is the thing. In the Muslim world, and it is in the Christian world as well, sometimes you don't question religion. Why? Why not? Why not? It's because a lot of masses tends to, oh, you can't question a religion. It is what it is. That's it. If the monarch said, God sent me here, that's it. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And again, no offense to religious people. If you are religious, more power to you. And it's respected. I just wanted to highlight to you how it works within this context of the Saudi monarchy. And this is why, as I mentioned earlier, because MBS was young when he came over to power. He was 32 years old, no experience whatsoever with foreign policy, international affairs, and certain stuff. And this is why when King Salman made that decision to ask his nephew, by the way, again, with the pictures, it make more sense to you. I'm going to show you first the picture of King Salman, okay? This is his nephew, Mohammed bin Nayef, who was supposed to be in line. And this is MBS, Mohammed bin Salman's son. This is the son of the King Salman. So, okay, just try to follow me here with, I know so many pictures here. They are all three here. And why is this important, guys, for this picture? Because who's next to the king? He wasn't the son. He was the next in line for the throne. This is how the tradition has always been. You have the Syrian king, you have the next king, then you will have the next one in line. This one wasn't called the king. Mohammed bin Nayef was called crown prince. Once you get to the status of crown prince, that's when you become waiting for the king to pass away and you will take over. And this is why sort of what Mohammed bin Salman was not accepted by all the royal family members. Remember, there are 10,000 of them, royal members, to whom have not pledged the allegiance. This is the key. So Mohammed bin Nayef, one of them, So what is certain is that by deciding to elevate his son, MBS Mohammed bin Salman, to crown prince, King Salman has changed now the established, as I mentioned, kinship process to succession forever. Because his son might not make it. Yeah, we might not see it next year, next 5 years, one way or another. If I am still alive and that happens, I'll tell you, We did a live stream on it, and that's exactly what happened. Now, here is one another thing that I need to highlight to you briefly here. And it has to do two things. One of them has to do with the royal family. You know how they are surviving with all this lifestyle? It's from oil, because they got a stipend on a monthly basis. If anybody needs money, they get like to my knowledge, the last one I checked was about $150,000 a month or something like that, just from sell a barrel of oil and get that. So that's so the monarchy as a whole has about $2 trillion in assets. Now, if you are to say you are a representative of God on earth for the kingdom, how come you live in this lavish lifestyle when you have hungry Muslims in some other parts? Look to Bangladesh, look to Pakistan, look to Muslims in India, in Yemen, in Africa. I mean, come on. So, and again, this is not about just Islam. It applies to Christianity. It applies to whomever, whatever religion. This is why religion, again, it's your decision, but it doesn't hurt to start questioning. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why we have a brain. We can ask questions that matter. A lot of people do not like when you touch on very sensitive issues, like what I did yesterday with the topic about why the American dream is dead, it's over. You know, I got some schmuck who has no idea what he's saying. Well, you are not an American and all that stuff. How can you bash America? Well, wait a minute. Who is American here anyway? I might have not been born here, but who is American here? We all came from somewhere. If we are to say really America belongs to Americans, then we all should pack our bags and get out and leave the land to the Indians, the original inhabitants of the land. You know, and this is where you see the stupidity. It's because what I stated in the video hit a nerve with this idiot who couldn't understand, because he's living an illusion. And the whole purpose for the video that I did was a wake-up call. No more, no less. What you do at the end, you forgive ignorance. You forgive. Because remember, guys, what I told you, meaning in life and emotions. There's two that matters in life. Two key. It's not the wealth. It's not the fancy cars, this and that. All that won't matter. What matters is meaning. If you do have a meaning in your existence in life, and you are doing something that is meaningful. I found it here with you guys. This is why I got to protect the community. And when I see someone like this, I'm going to allow. You are entitled to your opinions and all that stuff. No issue with that. But the moment you start spewing nonsense because my community deserves better, I will not let you. That's all it was. That's all it was. Why? Because of meaning in life. I found meaning with you guys. That's what I'm doing, But anyway, always think positive. That's what we do. Second thing I need to highlight to you briefly here before I'll answer some of your questions. So make sure to prepare some questions. There is one key strategic aspects to all these dynamics is that when MBS came to power, as I mentioned, because let me read it for you the way it is written. While the Al Saud family, the one I wrote in this book here, just in case those who might not know. Where is it? Where's the picture? Right here. And once again, to those who might be interested in wanting to have a copy of this book, just go to this link here, and you can get that book there. So let me share this with you. As I wrote back then, while the Al Saud family draws some of its power from the unquestionable support of the religious establishment, the United States' inability to challenge Saudis after 9/11 supports my arguments. Further, the removal of MBN, Mohammed bin Naif, that is, who has close ties with the U.S. intelligence community, mainly the Central Intelligence Agency, and the ascendancy to power of MBS, might convince the Russians and the Chinese to woo the latter to their sphere, given his inexperience and youth. And that's exactly what happened. What the Russians end up doing, what the Chinese end up doing, and this is for strategic reasons. There is nothing nefarious about it. No, 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 no. The Chinese and the Russians were smart. It's now or never, and they succeeded. Look what the Saudis did in two aspects. One of them is selling oil to China using the yuan, not the US dollar. And second is agreeing with Russia to keep the production cut for OPEC Plus till next year. And this is why, as I mentioned, remember when King Salman took over, what was his first trip to? Two countries, Russia and China, wasn't the United States. It was the first ever of a sitting king of Saudi Arabia, which highlights, in my opinion, as I argued back then, the thinking in Riyadh that time is of the essence for the Desert Kingdom to reconsider its options in light of the ongoing war at that time in Syria. King Salman's trip to Moscow came on the heels of the United States' decision to end military aid to the Syrian rebels at that time. Because remember, we were the one behind the scenes fueling the tensions in Syria, let alone stealing oil that doesn't belong to us. You know, you can't steal. Stealing ain't good. You don't take something that does not belong to you. We all grew up learning this from our parents, right? Well, the government shouldn't have the right to steal other assets from other countries. You can't. You just can't. So, and this is what the Saudis were thinking. It thinks it perceives in terms of the U.S. losing influence in the region, meaning West Asia or Middle East, that is. And Saudi's interests are better served if Saudi Arabia changes its stance immediately. This is why I wrote back then, are the Saudi Crown Prince MBS days number as he fears assassination? That's what I argued back then. So that's my point, guys. I wanted to highlight to you to understand this dynamics. So when Saudi MBS will come and say to the Americans, to Congress, you're going to a corrupted entity, want them to help you? Come on, man. That just tells you the story right there. Tells you the story right there. But when you think about the secret meeting that took place between MBS and Netanyahu back in 2019, if I am not mistaken, I have the link and I'll share it with you guys later on in the city of No. And this is why at that time the Crown Prince was reticent to officially highlight, sort of acknowledging the presence of the Israeli Prime Minister on the Saudi territory, because the religious establishment in Saudi Arabia would not like it, because they feed up on this. Remember, the way it works in the Muslim world and the Arab world, the way it works is for the monarchy to ensure that there is always that room for allowing the masses to express their anger against the West, against Israel, against this, against that. Yeah, we understand. What Israel is doing in Gaza ain't right. There is no ifs and buts. But where is all the Muslim world right now? Sitting behind and watching what's going on. So, and this is one of the things I'm going to be addressing tomorrow regarding Canada. Shame on Canada. Shame on Canada. Canada is gone, by the way. Canada is gone. Same like Australia. Same like UK. UK is bad. Very, very bad what's going on in the UK right now. So, and this is what I need you to understand. This is how usually, by the way, this picture, just to explain to you the cultural traditions, always the Crown Prince will be on the left here, and the next in line will be always on his right. This is the reverse of what we have, for example, for us in the military. You always, like when the general is walking, you have to walk on his left side. At least that's what I did when I was in the military. So, and now it's just a matter of time. By the time King Salman passes away, we wish him well, of course, but he's unable to do anything. Is MBS that decides now what's going on. And if you challenge him, you'll disappear into. It's their country; they can do whatever they want. In my business, but what's my business is for you to understand the truth and the reality for why all of a sudden he's reaching out to Congress. Because he knows inside the royal palace, because they have tribes, they have factions. That's how it is. 10,000 members of the royal family, not all of them is going to be on the same sheet of music. This is exactly what happened to King Faisal. When King Faisal stepped to the line, his nephew, which means the king's brother's son, ended up killing him. He just went ahead and shot him. And they end up hanging a death penalty to the nephew who assassinated King Faisal. That's the way I see it down the road for this guy here. Now, will the intelligence agency, whomever that is, I'll let you think about that yourself, consider some plot? Not necessarily, because all they need to do is domestically push that agenda one way or another. You're smart enough, you can read between the lines. That's the only way I see it. But all I know is that the trajectory of the monarchy has changed the moment MBS took over. Now, is he bad guy, good guy? That's up to you to decide. And I am not here to decide on that, because to me it's irrelevant. What's relevant to me is he of substance or not? Because remember, as I wrote in the book, the moment he took over, he bought 3 items that was worth almost $1 billion. One was the I wish I got a picture of it. The picture of, you guys know the, hold on. Savior of the world picture. There is a painting. Yeah, the painting of this called the Savior of the World, Salvador Mundi. Salvador Mundi, the by Leonardo da Vinci. It was about $300 million or something. I have the reference in the book. That means I had to check. Second one was, I think it was some yacht of sort. That was the one. And it was a third item. It's real estate in France, southern France somewhere. That's yeah. And again, I'm not judging the guy. You do whatever. It's your money. It is about, just to highlight to you, it's just a matter of time before some prince, because there are tribes inside, and that's how it's going to be. All right, guys, that's all I have to share. Usually, if I don't have anything to add to the conversation, I stop talking. You know how it is, right? All right, let me take some questions from you. Then just go from there. First of all, thank you all for your continued support. Let me put the link for those who wants to support my upcoming Asia trip. And yes, I am going to Asia. I don't say much, in due time. You all know. No need to beat the dead horse. You know how it works from a security perspective. But thank you all for those who bought me coffee and tea recently. So I'm very, very grateful. All right, let me see some questions from you guys. Then I'll sign off later on. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's topic is also, I read the article. I was just Alistair looking, who's most likely to take out India? It will be internally within the royal family. We are, of course, here in the US, we are concerned about the shifting, the pivoting of the Saudis east. But the Saudis looking at it from their own economic incentives. The world, because Asia is the hub, the center hub for a global economy. It's not the US anymore. And this is why I did the video what I did yesterday. It's just the reality of it. I know some do not like when I write about stuff like that, but hey, I can't just be telling you only the good things, whatever. And it's my country, and I'm not bashing my country. I am bringing the truth to the fore for my countrymen to wake up. American or not, it is such a stupid argument. What I found very, very sad is the level of thinking of these individuals. That's all they had to argue. You are not an American. What such a weak argument. It's not even worth answering to, and I don't. Yeah, that's the way I see it for this question here. Most likely will be from within. Of course, that could be the possibility of assistance from other intelligence agencies. Do you think Iran is a good help for Palestine politically and militarily? That depends again. Iran has its own issues. Iran has its own issues with Israel. Has nothing to do with Palestine. There's some links to that to a degree, but there's more about it, because remember, all the scientists that have been taken out, either on Iranian soil or outside Iran, were by Israel directly. And this, to Iran, this is going to have to come to an end. So to Iran, they're hitting two birds with one stone: the Palestinian issue and their own dealing with Israel. And to my understanding so far, we will never know what's coming, what Iran's going to do. All I know, based on my own research and reading and all that, the preparations on the side of the US and Israel are major. As a matter of fact, today, American Airlines announced the cancellation of all flights to Tel Aviv till 2025. That tells you something right there. If MBA, you mean MBS. I'm sure you meant MBS. If MBS dies, what will happen to KSA foreign policy? Well, they're going to have to wait for the next in line, which most likely will have to be Mohammed bin Nayef. But nobody knows where he is. As a matter of fact, to my knowledge, is that the agency, the three-letter agency, asked MBS not to harm MBN, Mohammed bin Nayef. I was aware of that a few years ago. So yeah, foreign policy, their foreign policy, that depends again on who's going to become it. If you get somebody like MBN is going to turn back to the United States. Because remember, even within the monarchy itself, the members, who's going to be, you look at this MBS now. Is he doing good for Saudi economically? Maybe, maybe not. Because this oil is going to end one day. But their survival depends on the United States. So whomever takes power will have to consider that aspect. Okay, let me see. One more question, guys. Hairless apes, 10,000 princes. Did MBS butt in front of all of them? Yeah. Well, when I say 10,000, remember, not all of them in same age. You got like kids involved in the royal family princes. And if a kid is born, he's considered prince or princess. That's usually how it works. Not all of them are in line. What happened with this is that MBS stepped in front of the line for those who are supposed to become the next king in the Saudi. So to my knowledge, there are about 2,000 out of all this 10,000. Those are adults, princes, and so forth. Some of them involved in key positions in the monarchy to ensure its survival. This is why, for example, the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Interior, Security, Terrorism, Intelligence, Foreign Secretary of State, all of those are from the royal family. Rarely that you see an outsider, even like Jaber, who was the previous foreign minister. He wasn't a prince, but he was closer enough because he was an advisor. Or even ambassadors. When you think about the long-serving ambassador to the United States, his name was Bandar, and he died. Bandar served about 20 years. Do you guys know that Bandar, the former ambassador, used to go to the White House without an appointment? He just walk in, and he wouldn't even sign the book, because you're supposed to sign the Secret Service book. Who's coming in? Who's going out? Prince Bandar never needed to sign and never needed an appointment. He just walks in. That tells you the story right there. So that's usually how it works. X Doc, I heard BRICS kicking Saudi out. Is this true or is no? To my knowledge, it's just a rumor. I didn't hear that. And they won't kick the Saudi out. I don't think so. Yeah, if I am to guess, it's just a rumor. This is why, guys, I really, really mean it when I say, be careful what you are watching on YouTube. And I'm not, you watch whatever you want. Just use your judgment as to what you are consuming, the information you are consuming. Okay, one last question. And Hong Luang, what countries does it benefit the most if MBS is removed from power? The US. Yeah, that's what it is. Then you think about some Gulf states like the Qatar to a degree, but no, mainly the US. The US, because we don't want MBS to shift. Well, it's too late, but we will hinder that one way or another. So, all right, guys. I am going to sign off here. I need to go take care of some admin stuff and prepare. I already prepared the stuff for tomorrow, but I usually do my update. Question: why is the U.S. media biased towards Saudi Arabia? Biased what way? Meaning presenting Saudi in a good light, or if you can just clarify this quickly, I'll be able to answer, because I wrote something in my book pertaining to this particular point. But till I know what do you mean by that, I can't answer that one right now. Okay, I saw the same question from you, ABN. Now, ABN, I am thinking you are not who you seems to be. Oh, and I'm sorry, against Saudis. You got it. Against the Saudis. It's once again, it's because the shift is the shift that we didn't like. Do you know? And not just for you, ABN, for all of us. Do you guys understand what it means for the Saudis to dump the US dollar completely from all oil transactions around the world? Just let that sit in. And for us, what it's going to mean? And that's why, especially after what happened to Jamal Khashoggi, because Jamal Khashoggi was a contributor to the Washington Post. Whether you like Washington Post or not is beside the point. And he was a U.S. resident. So this is why some media. But I tell you, when I wrote the book at that time, it used to be another sleazy writer by the name of Friedman. Shame on the guy. He wrote an article about MBS that's bad what he did. You know what happened? He got a phone call and was flown in. Friedman was flown in to Saudi Arabia and rewrote another article in which he was praising MBS. I wonder how much money he was paid for that. I lost all the respect for the guy. I never liked Tom Friedman. Anyway, he started to be wishy-washy. He used to be back then when he used to talk objectively. And again, nothing against Friedman, but truth matters. I can, and I don't care what people think about, well, you're too harsh. And no, I'm not. I base it on facts, and I documented this in my book because it mattered. It mattered that my readers know the full picture, why Tom Friedman was flown into Saudi Arabia to change the story. So this is to me, it matters. So to me, when you do something from your heart, you will put 110% effort in it. Straightforward. And that's part of what that meaning is. That's what this meaning in life is all about. Oh, thank you so much, Zenita Petrovska. I adore you, Dr. O. Thank you so much. Really, your kind word means a lot to me. And people like you, and all the community is what keeps me going, guys. And I mean it when I say it. You know me by now. I don't sugarcoat things. You screw up, I will tell you to your face, because you will know what to expect from me. And your kind words like this is really, really keeps me going, because I know you're learning something, and I am learning from you as well. So, okay, guys, I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to have to go because I need to take care of some stuff, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. As always, remember, geopolitics impacts your daily life in more ways than one. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.